And welcome to Revolution Radio. That was the Fifth Fire with the song Idealist. We're here on a Wednesday. We're expecting them to call in about 10-15 minutes.
Mark Ryan and the Fifth Fire.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you have like anything that wasn't live? Because no,
it would not load up properly.
We should talk to them about like getting on Google. Or like something pretty, like how we're gonna be on Anchor very soon. Like it's pretty easy. Like,
you know, it's something to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think that like did them justice. It's all like it's very tinny, very I mean it's live. Like even like huge bands when they do live albums, like sometimes, especially just like a YouTube video.
You know what I am impressed with? Hold on, not that one. Sorry. So when I was going through all their music and everything, like I was
Why
really
was it
impressed.
Donald Trump number 2?
You know what? I
like
really
literally,
question...
it's like there's like 3 Fifth Fire songs, and then the rise of Donald Trump, and then back to Fifth Fire.
Right. So listen to this because it's been a while, and we'll talk about it. Since we've interviewed these guys, I forgot how good they can be. Listen.
Yeah, like that's better.
Like I forget
it's
how
a better
good
recording
of a singer Mark really is, and yeah, I'm really excited to talk to him because it's been 8 years. Jesus Christ, how old are we? I don't know anymore. So yeah, hopefully they call in the next 10-15 minutes and we can talk with the Fifth Fire because it's been a while.
Yeah, no.
See what they've been up to, anything new. Looks like a few different band members. You never know. A lot happens in 8 years.
It's been a very long time, so,
are you still friends with all your band members that are living?
I don't know if I'd say friends, but I do know,
Is it
contact with a lot of them.
Is it like Facebook friendship? Like, hey, I see you there.
Yeah, and it's not like I dislike them or anything like that. I'm a very closed off person, and yeah, so that's part of it. Hey, by the way, is my channel up? I just want to make sure that a video is going to play.
Oh, you're good to go, babe.
Let me see.
I want to hear this video.
Okay, I just wanted to check that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so before they call in though, we have a situation with Jeffrey Epstein. Which, if you guys don't remember him...
He's a complete and utter piece of shit.
He is from Florida. He is a billionaire. I believe he was a lawyer and an entrepreneur in some aspect, an investment, and definitely into like a hedge fund manager at some point. He's done a lot of things with money and a lot of very popular people. Some of his good friends who he's been spotted with include, but are not limited to, George Stephanopoulos, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and of course Robert Kraft.
He's like a well-rounded fella.
And
kind of popular, isn't he?
The reason why people have, why his name has come to light in the last few years is because he was accused of sex trafficking. Over 100 minor age little girls.
Oh, he likes fucking the children.
Pretty much. So
yeah.
He did actually back in 2012, 2014, I can't remember the exact year, but he did plead guilty to 1 count of child molestation. Just one.
One out of thousands.
And the punishment for that was that he got to go to work every day, right? Because he was big and important, and he had a lot of stuff to do. So he didn't, he couldn't miss work, right?
No.
But at 9 o'clock, he had to check in with his own personal security guard and go into his own private quote-unquote cell. Where his cell, by the way, was a lot nicer than all of our homes.
Well,
just so you know.
I do, and I think it's important to talk about that because when this story first came out, a lot of people didn't talk about it or ignored it. And when you say cell, it's borderline, it's not even the prison. It is a jail cell at a county jail. He has a couch.
He has redone completely.
He has a couch,
Yeah.
a TV, a bed, a computer, and his hours from that he has to be there, he has to check in at 10 p.m. and he can check out at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
so he's not a real...
No, not at all.
No.
So there were a number of other victims who came forth and said, no, this is bullshit. We have to overturn this plea deal he made. Because we didn't agree to this plea deal.
Yeah.
And so it was brought forth today that the prosecutor in this case warned and told the judge who was overseeing this case, and understand, prosecutors don't typically go to a judge and warn them. And in fact, usually it's kind of the other way around. The prosecutor told the judge, no, this plea deal must stand. And if it does not stand, there are certain confidential issues that might happen. And what he was referring to, by the way, is names leaking out. Names of people who are also involved in such deals. I have always said that there are parts of me that really question people like Alex Jones and so forth that go on. No, that talked about like Bill Clinton and his child raping and whatever. But Bill Clinton, I mean, we can't deny the fact that Bill Clinton was a good friend with this guy. So if you're a Democrat or whatever and you're a Clinton apologist, understand, like, I'm a progressive and I will...
Yes.
Yeah, I go against... Well, I guess I go against Democrats too, but I really do... I probably have more of a bias to the left.
You should be aware that Bill Clinton stayed at this man's hotel. He's been on boat trips. They were friends.
They're very good friends.
So the chance...
George Stephanopoulos.
Yes, the chance that they knew about this trafficking... I'm going to say like 50-50 chance.
Yeah,
it's right there. It's yes or no.
And then this, this would also include people like the President of the United States being involved. A lot of Kevin Spacey was one of his... There is a ton of people who are friends with this guy. And so lo and behold, the judge dropped the case. He said the plea deal stands. Jeffrey Epstein is fine. He's free. He's good. And we did have just a quick video of what the courtroom looked like when this was given down.
Seriously?
I'm just fucking with you.
Oh my god.
Sorry. John Oliver was doing rickrolling this weekend, and like I forgot how fun that is. So I thought, I'm gonna rickroll Tanya today. No, that story though is completely true.
Yeah, the story is true.
There is absolutely no video or audio.
Do you remember when we would rickroll everybody and you'd be like, so hold on a minute. We have a tough grinding question and we want to know, and then you'd play it and people would be like, what's happening?
It's so much fun, I forgot. It's been years. And I was like, yeah, next time I'm in the studio, I'm going to get those guys. Luckily for us, Cody, not able to make it.
Luckily?
Yeah. Part-time, no time Cody. I don't know. If he's not careful, Monica's going to take his place. And I'll tell you why Monica will take his place. Because Monica will debate with me. And I like someone to debate with.
And it's not necessarily, for those of you who... The day Monica came, because apparently some of you are commenting on Facebook about the name of our episode.
It sounds like a Friends episode.
It does.
Like when Chandler finally got the job done.
I think we should name them all after Friends when Monica comes, because Monica will argue and debate with anybody. And I love that about her.
Yeah,
she is unapologetic, and she stands up for what she truly believes in. And honestly, she's freaking hilarious.
And she's opinionated, and it does come from a place of... But, I also say, too, she's not unreasonable.
I don't know, she almost stabbed you. She pulled out her gun. Like, you guys should see
was-
Monica. She
it was
comes with
funny.
her little,
she was very...
serape in her Mexican outfit.
She was like a lot more passionate than I was. I was just pointing out, like, because I'm not... I have been on this, like, anti-corporate, democratic
Yes.
corporate path for a very long time. So I was just like, yeah, no, Biden sucks. Clinton sucks.
And
you
the
know?
look on
And
Monica's
then, yeah,
face.
it was like I just said her kids sucked. You know, like, she had it. What? Come on.
She's a chihuahua.
But it was fun. It was fun. I got to debate somebody. I don't usually get to. And anyone that we call in for that purpose, they never either call in.
Preacher, Christian.
Or they never
and we
go
would
there.
love to have you guys come, even in studio. Come in. We have cookies. We do drinks. It's a laid back thing. Tell us why you masturbate to Trump. We're
Just
okay
don't
with
touch
it.
me. You put your hand on me, you lost. And I will sue you.
Oh, I'm serious. I think it's interesting that a lot of these people, like, I don't know if you guys are friends with Jay on Facebook. Jay's Facebook is a very hostile environment.
I will say this before you go into it, though. It can stay dormant if I don't get involved. And
But the
once I
minute
start
you
stirring
do-
shit up... Here's a funny thing that people... By now, the time they hear this, they'll probably have forgotten. But one little trick I like to do is I like to get in there and I like to stir the shit up. Right? And then I've got comments going here, comments over here, and there's fighting here, there's infighting over here. My mom's fighting over here. Tanner's defending me over here. There's people left and right. I have a lot of left-sided friends, by the way, which I'm very surprised by that. But during all that chaos, I'll share a link to our show.
You do.
Like, it is, what you
Like,
don't understand
in the middle
is,
of it.
like, it is very maniacal.
Well, and sometimes you'll even be like, so this just backs up my point. And then there's a link to our show, and I'm like...
It doesn't, but by the time they hear it, who cares? They're going to hear about me curious about what a taint looks like.
And here's another thing, and I think people missed it when you were... Seriously, his mom gets on there and goes crazy. I love it. She's a chihuahua, too.
Sometimes. I mean, I've got a lot of... honestly, though, when I see my mom or some of our fans, like our good, like our
going at
when
it.
they start standing up, then I'm like, oh, shit, I got to get in there. Like, I can't let them take, like, one for me, so to speak. So then I get involved, and then it's a lot of fun.
I love your Facebook.
It is blowing up.
It is interesting.
It has been very popular.
Like, what would you do if you could get up to 30,000 friends? Like, your Facebook...
yeah, I know.
You would shut Facebook down some days.
I mean, at times, probably. I mean, look, I'm no Philip DeFranco or
No, but I would love
PewDiePie
to
or-
see his fans going at it like yours do.
I know, mine suck. No, most of them are great, but there is a few people, and I mean, for the most part, they're trolls. Obviously, they're not.
Well, I mean, who names their kid Thad?
Right.
That is such a fake-ass troll name.
And I'm sure there'd probably be, like, some of the actual fans and listeners and people like that who actually come to my side, like, how come you talk about the bad people? How come you don't talk about what we do? And he is right. I mean, they are right in that regard.
They are.
But, I mean, there was one guy, and I don't even know his fucking name, because he has, like, 3 weird-ass names. I didn't think he was a real person. I went back, started looking at him, and he's, like, old, fat, and white, and he's, like, threatening to choke me. And I'm like, homeboy, you probably run out of air when you go to the refrigerator.
Pay hookers to do that.
You understand you can't touch me? Yeah. And besides, tits aren't big enough to choke me. We'll debate if your dick is. You're not packing like Bailey J. I'm out.
I love that about you. Wow. So, as we wait for them to call in, which they have time, do you, Mr. over there, you going to talk about what we did this weekend?
Oh, yeah. We went to the Loony Bin. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, my God. How much do you love the Loony Bin?
It's so great. I don't know if they're... You know, I was saying, Kristen Lindender.
Oh.
Was the first time... I just want to say this. I thought she did great, right?
Yes.
But it was the only time I've been to Loony Bin where I was like, there's a little lull here. Just a little bit. She still did great, and people should go see her without a doubt. But my point of saying this is the Loony Bin is such a great comedy club because that's the only time, and all the times I've been there, that's the only time where there's been like 10 or 15 minutes where I was like, yeah, I get what she said. Like, she's kind of just talking to the liberal females here. Oh, that's fine. As I'm trying to like track down a barmaid to bring me another drink. But no, it's great. And then she did have some. There was a few things that like I noticed. We saw her, and then we saw Brent Terhune.
Yes,
and
Brent
Terhune or
Terhune.
I can never say his last name right.
The Ginger Man.
Yeah. They both ended their sets on jokes about reverse cowgirl.
Is that not weird?
I really thought that when Brent closed down, he should have made comment about hers. Like, doing the reverse cowgirl thing, and then making, like, because he did a female voice, and if he'd have been like, oh, that's what it looks like to have balls, that would have been funny, and it would have kind of, like, closed out both. Like,
it would have, you're right.
And don't get me wrong, his entire set was fucking hilarious. He doesn't need my help.
Oh, my God.
It was just one thing I thought, like, you could have kind of closed those together.
So, like, the whole time we were there, and the first guy was funny. I was amused by him.
Oh, he was
and
great.
I ordered something that I shouldn't have, and then I ordered another drink. I ordered 2 different ones. I don't think we've discussed how big the drinks are at the Loony Bin. So by the time the first guy was done, I drank everything. Because it was fruity, like fruit punch.
You weren't pacing yourself?
No.
You didn't really seem that drunk.
No, I really didn't, because I was trying not to be like, woo! And then I ordered my second one, and I was like, I'll try to contain this. And it was in the middle of hers when it came. So by the time there was like 20 minutes left of Brent Terhune, I was bouncing because I had to pee so bad.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't think I'd make it. So, as advice to those listeners who go to the Loony Bin, pee before a set.
Well, you can go. I mean, I went during Brent's, I think, to the restaurant.
I don't think you went during Brent's.
It was either Brent or Kristen.
It
one
was
of the
Kristen's.
two.
Oh my God, though. And then when Brent came on, I didn't stop laughing, and I didn't know how to explain if I peed myself. Do you think they'd let me back in?
No. The answer is no.
Because I'm pretty sure the guy at the table beside us that goes,
no, that wasn't a good guy. That was not. No,
himself.
There was a guy who was sitting behind us, and he was just like, he had this high pitch.
Yes.
And the best thing about him was he was so into it.
He loved it.
I swear he was dying because even his girlfriend was like, calm down. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this dude's dying. This is fucking great. His laugh and the fact that he just kept going, and it would be like way after a bit, he was still laughing about the last bit.
Oh, okay, but honestly,
I was starting to just laugh at him.
Well, and I think that's why I appreciated Brent. How many times have... Okay, let's talk about another comic who's getting up there and kind of famous. I like Alex Elkin. And I know you and Cody are like, but he does stories. Brent Terhune had a lot of
one-liners.
Jesus Christ. Funny through the whole thing. And I'm not used to that with the one-liners. And he nailed it.
That's my typical, like, what I like as far as comedy. I mean,
he nailed it every time. Oh my God.
In fact, if we get a phone call, then we can, but I'll just, like, this guy, I think, is, or at least should be, the next best comic. I'll just play, like, a little bit.
A lot of prejudice where I'm from. A lot of people thought I was Jewish growing up. Any Jews here? Hey, all right. Just enough. Just kidding. You're the one. Good to have you. All right, yeah. Love the Jews. Jews are fun. You know why Jews are fun? It's the only religion you'd use as an adjective. You know, you can be like, oh yeah, Jeff's got curly hair, very nervous, kind of Jewy. Yeah? You could never do that with any other religion. You can never be like, oh yeah, Bob, he won't let his wife drive. Kind of muzzy. Makes her cover her face. Big old muzz, that guy. Yes. Huge Muslim. Yes. Yeah, but growing up in Louisiana, these Southern boys, they'd be like, "Hey man, you a Jew?" And I was like, "Me? No." And they're like, "Good. We're not crazy about the Jews." It's like, wow, it must be weird to hate something you can't even point out. If you have to ask, you're just bad at being racist. Must be frustrating to hate Jews. If you hate Jews, you must sit on a bus staring at somebody like, I think I hate that guy. Pretty sure I hate him. I'll tell you, if they're not wearing little hats, I am clueless.
Oh my God.
So that was 1 minute and 20 seconds out of like a 45-minute.
Oh, Jesus.
And think about how many jokes that's Mark Normand, by the way, who I don't know why that dude is not huge. I mean, he's too huge to call us, but he's still like...
He's too good for us, but
he
some other people
hasn't
can
hit
get
like
him.
even Louis C.K. level, where I think he's way funnier than Louis.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he kills Louis.
You don't usually take the name of Louis in vain that much.
I love Louis, and I
You
mean,
do.
but I would say that he should be up there like Jim Jeffries level. Like have his own, like at least have maybe not his own show, because I don't know what his ability are, but his ability is his ability are. But
Can I just say the
he
Jim
should definitely have
Jeffries
the-
show makes me want to pee my pants daily.
huh?
Like when I watch Jim Jeffries on TV, I want to pee my pants daily.
That's not even like his best work. It's a good show. Legit is his best work. He needs to be back in control of a sitcom. But my thing is
Yeah.
Mark Normand, like when he has like big specials, they should be massive. Because again, that was 1 minute 20.
You're so Jewy.
Like it was so good, and not even like one of his better bits, to be honest. But he sneaks in all these great punchlines, and that's what I liked about Brent as well.
I about died laughing.
Honestly, I can't think of one bad comic I've ever seen at the Loony Bin ever. They always have great comics.
They do.
Yes, we are hawking for them because
We love them
because
though.
we love them though, because it's a good place and people should go. But we don't need to, by the way.
No, we
and
don't.
In fact, we always say it. Look, if you plan on going, call ahead because
For the
they
love of
sell
God.
out very quickly.
Let's talk about how they sell out. Because we had a table, which we do love Biggs for, and we didn't have to do any sexual favors for at all.
Now he takes care of us, and that's why we try to take care of him.
But when we went, it was pouring down rain. We're in shitty
Oh,
Kansas.
it was the shittiest drive.
There could have been a tornado. We didn't know because we couldn't see anything.
How much? By the way, we had 4 pretty full-grown adults in the car. Some of us a little more overgrown. And my car, the wind, was it not shaking the shit out of it?
We should have died so many times.
There was times on the way there to the comedy that I couldn't see. Like
it was horrible.
Did I not have the windshield wipers at full blast? Like they were going super fast.
And Jay
It's
had
a
to
new
drive in the
car.
middle of the road
Yeah.
just to make it through the water because it was so flooded. And even when we got there, we couldn't see running through the rain.
Well, okay, just
was
quickly on the
horrible.
way up there, as you were saying, yeah, we were in the middle, and were we still not like plowing through water? I mean,
At one point, I was so concerned that we were going to have to get out and push your car out of a puddle. And I was like, we're going to fucking drown trying to push your car out. It was horrible.
and I even, like, Jeff and I were talking, and he was like, well, at least there probably won't be a lot of people here.
And we did not know when we got there how many people
There was no seats left.
There
It was
wasn't.
packed. It was full.
So for the love of God, if you want a table, you better call. And they have good food. Good food, good drinks. It's a great time. 2 hours tops. It's an amazing time. I recommend the
It's like
Loony
the
Bin
best
so
2 hours.
much.
Yeah.
It's like the best date night.
If you're like, oh, I think I'll go see a music show.
No.
Look, half of the times the bands stink. I mean, let's be honest.
The drummer's gonna mess up. The guitar player might puke.
They're
Somebody's
nervous,
peed
they
their
might
pants.
suck. They're probably gonna play songs you've never heard.
And for 20 minutes, you're going to be sitting there like, this isn't bad. Or you can go to Loony Bin where you're like, holy shit, this is amazing. I should have come. You get a meal, you can drink, you're going to have fun. It's dry, it's nice area, and nobody's going to pee on you.
No smoking, no people pushing you, no. Yeah, it's a very cool sit down.
Love it.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's like 100 times cheaper than a shitty like a shitty Cardi B concert. I don't know.
And then the cool thing I like about it is afterwards you can meet the comics, take pictures, you know, do that whole fun thing. A shout out to Brent for hooking me up with some free stuff. I appreciate that.
OG. Oh my god. It was amazing.
I got my emotional support beer cozy. Which, if anyone, if you know Brent Terhune, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh my god,
from all of his amazing videos. It was great, though.
Well, and your wife got a t-shirt from Kristen.
Yeah.
It says thick on it.
I just realized I can
What the fuck is
control
happening?
this.
Oh my god, that's you! I was like, it's twigging out on me!
I just realized I could do that as I'm playing around. But yeah, no, it's fantastic, and Brent was great. Really can't say enough about how great the Loony Bin is.
Okay, that just messed with me. Don't touch shit.
What?
Stop it.
Huh?
You're a dick.
I am.
So as we're still waiting, because there's a chance that I messed up. I've been in contact with our band. Me, myself, and I. And this morning they sent me an email. And they were like, yeah, so
there is a chance that Tanya will be doing this interview by herself if
They
they
were
call
like-
later.
So we'll call in. What's your number? And I responded with our Revolution Radio number. And now we discover, but did I?
And the other issue is, so the one story we have is multi-layered, and it's very entangled, and I don't want to go into it. And then get interrupted. So we're just kind of gonna see if they.
Well, and if you were here for
And if
last
they don't, that's
Friday's
fine. We
show,
can just keep going. I mean,
you know, we had a call with Brent on Friday.
yeah.
In the middle of a story.
This one's a little bit more. This one.
And that's a little more in depth than what, or your story's more in depth than what mine
And
was.
passionate, and yeah, a lot of.
So we're gonna wait like 3 more minutes and see if Mark calls in. And he is Mark. Forgot his last name just now. And I've said it 3 times.
Norman.
Mark Norman.
Mark Norman.
With the Fifth Fire. Great guy.
You expect him to be really funny. He calls in. He's like, "Yeah, I just want to talk about guitars."
You're the worst comedian ever.
You have a minute to make me laugh 4 times.
Oh my god. That would be hilarious if you did that.
I should. I had thought about.
Oh.
Shit. I'm almost wondering too if he calls in if I should rickroll him.
You and fucking Rick Rollin.
Dude, I have to. I mean, John Oliver. He brought it back.
So do you know what is really funny? Because you know my kids dance, and we're getting ready to head to nationals, and we have all this stuff going on. And
Sorry, I'm just getting ready. Just in case I decide to do it, I want to be at a good place.
And my kids were trying to plan for next year because they have solos, okay? And my son was like, I really want to do something meaningful like I did this year. Because he did a very meaningful song, and it's a beautiful solo. And I was so impressed with him because he's never done one before. And I'm like, okay, because his solo is about suicide. And he's like, I want this one to be more meaningful, and I want people...
Solo about suicide.
I'll have to show it to you. It's a good solo. And he's like, I just want people to feel moved and touched. And he goes, I found that song. And I was like, you did? And he goes, yeah. Do you think people would dance to it? And he started playing that, and I go, is that Toto? And he goes, it's Africa. It's the white people's crack.
Yeah, but it's not a suicide song.
Right? And
That's a good time song.
And I was like, are you messing with me? And he goes, yes. Straight up. And I was like, are you serious? Like 20-minute conversation about fucking Africa.
Africa's a great song.
Thanks, Declan.
But I'm curious, so like, does he do a lot of like plies and stuff with like a rope around his neck? Does he like do one of those little jumps and then like he's jumping to a bottle of pills?
I asked about that, and his teacher informed me that is not. I think it's more of like a child being abused, and how the child is breaking free and becoming,
I'm just curious how you interpret a dance suicide, child suicide, which is not funny, unless you think about the ways that you could dance to make it look like.
I never showed you his solo.
You know what I mean? No.
Well, I'm just a shitty dance mom, aren't I?
Thank God.
Right.
Hey, have you seen this? Have you seen it? For one, because like one of your daughters is like 15 or 16, and the dance outfits are, in my opinion, inappropriate, and I don't want to see that. I don't need to be seeing thigh on a teenage girl. I just don't.
Okay, and when he says inappropriate, and he said thigh. Here we go. It's a knee. She has a knee.
No.
It is not a thigh. It's a knee.
I have seen some pictures you posted, and there's definitely some. Look, and you're right. And you're
talking about that purple thing. I know.
I have no idea what you're talking about. But you're right and wrong in the fact that part of it is just me.
It is you. No, I respect that about you.
If there was, if high school kids are at like the swimming pool, they're wearing probably less, if not. And I don't want to see that either. You know what I mean? It's like, just ew. Like.
You are very respectful, and I do appreciate that. And sometimes when we're picking out costumes, I'm like, would Uncle Jay like that? And my kid's like, well, no, it's fitted, so...
And by the way, I'm like that with everything.
You know, you
like
really are.
Basketball, even male NBA basketball, if they're not wearing, like, the long pants, like the Under Armour pants,
you don't
under
like
the
it.
shorts and the shirt that's under there and the long, like, braces and stuff, I'm like, do we really need to see that much of your legs?
It does. It cracks me up about you.
I don't want to see Kawhi Leonard's balls. It's just,
Maybe
how
I
it
do.
is.
Did you ever think about that? I kind of do.
I mean, I bet they're giant. Did you see the turtle, by the way?
What did you just say to me?
Well, we were just talking about the Raptors. Well, Kawhi Leonard. Did you see the Kawhi Leonard turtle?
No.
So a bunch of turtles got freed. They let them... they were named, and then they got to the age where they could be free.
Mm-hmm.
And let out to sea, and they were all named after the Raptors players. Because that's like... The whole thing was that, like, the turtles are descendants of the Raptors. And so Toronto did this, like, cool thing for sea turtles. And they showed them when they were babies. And after they named the players. And they're adorable. I love turtles. See, if we had a producer guy, he would have hit the I like turtles button right there, and that would have been awesome.
I was going to say, I have that button on my phone somewhere. Oh, this must be him.
Call from.
Hello, this is Revolution Radio. Do we have Mark on?
Yes, we do.
The Mark
Tanya?
Ryan? Yes. Woohoo!
Hey, Mark. I'm going to go and put you on speaker. I got my guitar player here with me, too.
Okie dokie.
This is Cheryl.
Hi there.
Cheryl's new. Okay, so for everybody who's listening, this is the Fifth Fire with the Mark Ryan. And for those of you who have gone through our old archives, we interviewed Mark and the Fifth Fire, oh my God, 8 years ago?
8, yeah.
2011, yeah.
2011.
Yep.
Do you feel old now, Mark?
Oh, gosh, every day. Older every day.
So yeah, and it's me again. I'm Tanya, and I'm here with Jay again, and this is just crazy that we are re-interviewing you, because it's been 8 years. So you have a new guitar player, I see, or hear, because the last one was a man. Well, I guess it could be the same one.
Yeah, we, different gender this time.
Oh, okay. No operations, nothing fun like that?
Same person, different gender, or different... Hey, we live in progressive times now, okay?
Hi, Jay.
How you doing?
He's done with you already. So tell us, you guys, the last time we talked, you had a CD coming out, and you guys were headed to California, right?
I believe so, yeah. It's a little bit foggy. It's been almost a decade, but I believe that's what was going on around that time, yeah.
That is so amazing. So did you guys make it to California?
Yeah, we did. We did some touring in that area. I think that was 2014. Some pretty extensive touring. We were there for quite a while.
Awesome. Alrighty. And then, so since it's been almost a decade, how many CDs have you had come out since then? How many records?
This actually, interestingly enough, we just released our third one about 6 weeks ago. So since then, we've had 2.
How many have you had
So
with
three in total.
with your new guitar player?
Cheryl actually joined us after we made the record. There was a different guitar player that recorded Larger Than Death with us. But Cheryl's been with us since before we released the record, so she's been playing all the songs with us live and stuff like that.
So why did you have the lineup change anyway?
We've gone through a few over the years. There's different levels of musicians. Some are able to tour and some are not, and we like to do a lot of traveling, and so sometimes it's not something the current members can do, so we kind of change things up, and sometimes people come back and sometimes they stay. It's one of those things.
Oh, that makes sense. I thought you say something like the previous guitar player just couldn't hit any arpeggios and Cheryl can just light it up.
Yeah, if you look at our history and our photos, we changed quite a bit over the years, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast in the business nowadays.
Well, yeah, we were kind of checking you out earlier, and when we interviewed you, you had shorter hair, and I'm pretty sure your hair is not short anymore.
Yeah, it's still flowing.
That's a good way to put it. You look like one of those guys who should be on a romance novel with wind blowing, and then there's just a trail of hair.
That'd be a second career choice if I ever need to go looking at stuff.
That should be the new album artwork.
Just have Mark standing there, and then having her with a guitar of flowers. We should do that.
And of course,
Yeah, she's got hair that's prettier than mine, so.
of course, the drummer in the background just looking dejected.
You don't need a drummer.
Poor guy.
That is awesome. I can't believe it's been this long. Oh, I'm so excited to get to talk to you again.
Absolutely. You guys gave us our very first interview, so thank you. That was our very first interview we ever did with you guys.
Oh, I apologize because we sucked back then. It's taken years
No, it was
to get
great.
as
It was
shitty
a
as
great
we are
experience.
now.
You
Let
made
me
it
tell
really
you.
fun. We came in pretty nervous. It was our first time, so we didn't know what to expect. You guys were a lot of fun.
And now you guys probably get to do our last interview.
It comes full circle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm trying to think. So when you finished California, where did you go then? Because we couldn't find any more information. Like, where all have you toured?
Well, the story was we relocated to California around that time, and it's really expensive to live in California. So we kind of reached our limits there financially. So we came back to Kansas, and since then we've been touring pretty much all over the place. We went to Brooklyn a few years ago and did some stuff in Ohio, kind of the Northeast area. Did a lot of Texas, and we've been out west quite a bit too. Here lately we've been hitting Kansas City and Texas and Topeka, Oklahoma City, places like that.
Well, I know you're not supposed to actually answer this question honestly, but what's probably the best area to tour?
To tour?
Yeah.
It really depends. I think it's seasonal. It changes from time to time. Texas can be a fun place. We really had a lot of fun in Vegas. That's a really fun place to go. We're actually getting ready to go to Kentucky and New Orleans, yeah. New Orleans, that was great. We just got back from New Orleans a couple months ago, so that was a lot of fun. So it really just depends on the time.
Yeah, I can see that. That definitely makes sense. Also, since you've had a career that has expanded across, almost a decade. As far as reaching your fans, what approach do you take differently now than when you did prior?
Oh, that's a really good question. We try to reinvent ourselves. To try to stay ahead of ourselves, and try to stay out of the comfort zone. I would say that's one way that we try to do that. Social media is a big one, and that's changed over the years. The approach to that, but that's still a very big juggernaut, of course.
And how much have you noticed that the interaction and things of that nature on social media take up a majority of your time as far as promoting your band?
A great deal. I would say that in today's business, it's the most common way
It is.
to promote. Yeah. So it takes up a lot of our time. We focus on that quite a bit. Instagram, that's going to become a big one, and of course Facebook and a Rebirth Nation. I think Bandcamp is kind of coming up. We haven't really delved into that one too much lately, but it takes up a big part of your time. It really is probably, I would say, 75% or more of your promotion.
I would agree. Social media can be such a great thing, but it can take up hours and you don't even realize it.
And
I'm sure you guys know.
Yeah.
and regarding that, with fan interaction, how much of it does it actually change some of your direction on your music? Do you ever have any fans who are like, oh, I wish you guys were a bit more heavier, or I wish there was more Spanish guitar, whatever it might be? Does that ever influence what you're doing?
I wouldn't say it really influences us artistically. We try to, wherever we're at emotionally, wherever we're at philosophically in our lives, we try to just, capture that. So I wouldn't really say it influences us artistically, but it's definitely interesting to see the timeline and the chronology of how things are happening, sure.
Yeah. So you said that you guys try to reinvent yourselves and to keep it current. A lot of what's going on, especially in recent times, do you do a lot of rapping in your music? That is my question. Because I've noticed a lot of rock music, they now do rapping. Do you rap now, Mark?
I would say attempt to at times. I'm not sure how successfully it goes. But we come from the 90s, and there were bands that were incorporating that with rock music. Rage Against the Machine was a big influence for us. We've been compared to the Chili Peppers, on a few occasions. So I don't know if it's so much of a current thing as so much if it was kind of, influences from the beginning.
Okay.
Also, as you've gotten and you've been doing it more, have you noticed that I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Have you overwritten yourself? Like, I was in a band for quite a while, and I would notice that, the first album was just fun, and it was, pretty easy. By the second, third album, we're doing harmonies on every part. Everything's got to be double bass, breakdowns. You're trying to fit in 8,000 notes in a bar.
Right.
You did.
Have you noticed yourself to go that way, or have you kind of avoided that monster?
I'd say we're in a unique position because of the lineup changes we've gone through. So when you get a new musician, especially from the guitar standpoint, which is such a prominent instrument that defines your sound, you find that your sound alters on its own as a result of a new musician. Like, oh yeah, Cheryl's style is different than our last guitar players, and Begats. So we're in a unique position in that it has been kind of a challenge at times, but it also allows us to kind of freshen things up, so to speak, and take us on a certain direction that musician's style encompasses.
No, that makes total sense. Regarding the past members, is there any animosity? Anyone little hurt feelings or anything like that?
One time Jay made somebody move 3 states over because he didn't want to be in his band anymore. Just Jay's dick.
I just called ice on him.
There's been a lot of different situations. Sometimes they've ended on different ways, but we wish everybody well that we've worked with, and we'd like to think the same thing. It just came to a time where divergent interests, and it was time to explore different options, and so. Maybe at the time, we all have relationships that dissolve and stuff like that, and we feel a certain way about them when they do. But as time goes by, it's something you look at with a lot less intensity, I would say.
Yeah. So, Cheryl, what's it like? Are you the only girl in the band now?
Oh no, our drummer Lydia. She rocks.
No, I
we got
feel
two
bad for
girls.
making fun of the drummer. I usually make fun of all the drummers, but they're usually dumb guys, so I feel bad. That is awesome. So
Lydia was a unique find. She's known me for about 2 years now, and it's still kind of an anomaly to have female drummers. You see it, but you don't see it a whole lot. So it's pretty cool.
That is interesting. I am impressed by that, because you're right. I don't see very many. Well, a lot, especially in our area, a lot of bands don't have very many female players.
Right. It seems like there's an influx of female bass players quite a bit. You see that quite often. And Cheryl, to me, is even more of an anomaly, being a lead guitarist female. That's something that I haven't seen a whole lot.
Thank you, Mark.
Absolutely.
And regarding the kind of lineup, do you get a lot of the, like, Cheryl, were you in a different band and then you saw the Fifth Fire and you were like, hey, I would like to join that band, or did you guys happen to see her playing, or no, how does that happen?
Oh, well, actually, I also play in another band, and we met Mark where we shared a show with them one time. And we hit it off, and we're great friends, and he asked me to play with him this year, and I'm having the time of my life.
Sounds awesome. I bet so. I mean, touring's got to keep you busy, but it's got to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge, and there's it's a different kind of lifestyle, and it's some people really react to it really well, and some people it's not really for them. So, but it's been our dream since we started this band, was to just see as much of the world and hopefully play our music as possible.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think. The last time Jay toured, I think we all woke up puking in a hotel. So I support your way a lot better.
The last time I toured, it was on 21st Street in Broadway.
Yeah, you went to Broadway and got lost.
Found what I was looking for.
So, okay, so you're there with your guitarist, Mark. Can you guys do something live for us real quick?
We don't have anything prepared right now. I'm so sorry.
Okay, well then can your guitar player play us something? I mean, you don't have to be there. Let's see what she's got. I'm really intrigued by this.
It would take a moment to prepare.
Yeah, I'd have to plug in my stuff.
Yeah, we didn't say. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, that's not on you. Our producer should have said something beforehand, but
that's me, and
apparently
I suck.
she didn't.
I suck a lot.
Which is fun. It's a whole process to set up.
No, I know, and I get that. So, and this is where, because I didn't even tell Jay what happened, because we talked about this almost a year ago of doing this interview, and then I got bombarded with all these messages, and I lost Mark in like a year ago. So,
It happens.
And then like today I thought I emailed you, and I did, I just never sent it. Which technically, if you could read my mind, this wouldn't have happened, so...
I couldn't really, I was like, wow, what happened to Tanya? I was like, that was a few months ago now, but hope she's okay.
Yeah, I do that. Start drinking, forget what year it is. It's
Yeah,
cool.
Believe me, we can relate for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's plan, and I'll get back with you guys, and let's plan where you guys can actually do a live call where you call in, and we can actually do you on video and watch you guys play something. And I see you guys...
so sorry. We didn't know what to come in, except we would have planned for it, but we weren't sure.
You are completely fine.
It is 100% not on you.
No, it is me. I full out admit it. So tell us, I know you guys have a couple of concerts coming up, because Jay and I were actually talking about trying to make the one in August. Where else are you playing after that?
Well, right now, excited to talk about, we have our 9-year anniversary show coming up on July 5th. It's here in Wichita at one of our favorite places to play, Kirby's. I'm sure Jay probably knows it.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, so we got that coming up on July 5th, and we're doing the Donut Hole. And I'm assuming you're referring to the Brickyard in August?
Yeah, the one at the Brickyard, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there for the middle of the mains. It's like a beard competition. The proceeds go to charity. I'm not quite sure which charity just yet. I want to say MS, but I don't think that's right. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, that should be fun. And then we're headed back to KC later in August too.
Dude, that is so awesome. Okay, so where can our fans find you on social media?
Top Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Reverb Nation. That's it. Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're pretty much all over the place.
So everyone just needs to search Fifth Fire, and they can find?
Yeah, for sure. If you just like put us in your little search engine for all those individual platforms, we should pop up.
That is great. Mark, I am so glad we got together, and I will be emailing you, I promise, because we would love to come watch you guys at the Brickyard too. All right, everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate
Oh,
that.
thank you too.
All right, guys, and we will get with you. And ladies and gentlemen, that is Mark Ryan and Cheryl. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take
Woo! Thank you, guys.
I feel old that it was 8 years. Do you know what I mean?
Right? Yeah, you had a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old then.
And you had something in your nuts.
I didn't have anything.
You didn't have anything
No.
even. My God.
I think I had oxy in my, my stomach then.
I took a little oxy. Oh, that is awesome. So we'll get back with them, and hopefully we can do a live thing with the Fifth Fire. But right now, Mr. J, what is a current event we need to know other than the Epstein thing?
Okay, so, and by the way, I want to say that if you're listening to this video, our coverage on the Democratic debate is either already out or will be out soon. So
Yes.
check that out. Should be probably either before or right after this one comes out. We're going to watch it tonight. I believe it comes on at 9 Eastern time. And then we're going to do like a 45-minute, 30-minute kind of discussion about what was said and who we believe and what, you know, and go from there. And our take on the interview or on the debates. So that's huge, and that's tonight. That's why we're doing kind of a short show today. But the other thing that's gotten all over, and you know me, I like to do more fun comedy. It's have fun, you know, and then a couple progressive stories and whatever. But what we have to talk about is a story that we were going to talk about Friday, and someone I don't know who kept commenting throughout the story, and I forgot my place. It's actually very awkward.
You did.
But I really forgot my place, and I was like, now we're so close to this time. I don't know what to do.
Wow, you just beat your mic too. Look at you.
I know, I'm man. But what happened? And this story has done nothing but shed more light on issues and has continued to be to grow. I don't even really have to explain too much about it. Essentially, though, Ocasio-Cortez called the detention centers concentration camps, and everybody and their mom had a problem with that.
My mom did have a problem with that. You were not gonna lie.
So, okay, and we'll just talk about that for a second. People like Bill Maher, who are supposed to be, I'm a liberal, I'm a very liberal guy, and he said his reaction was, we have a mindset when we think about concentration camps. And let me just say something, Bill Maher, you're a jackass moron, because here's the thing: the concentration camps of Germany, of Auschwitz, those were not the concentration camps you're thinking of. Those were called death camps. The concentration camps is where they separated their families and where they lived in squalor, which is what's going on at the border, you jackass. You're thinking of the death camps, which were appropriately named death camps, because that's what they were for.
Even if you hear concentration camp and you think of a death camp in Germany, don't you feel like, maybe we should look into that? Because why would you compare them?
Well,
and then you look into it and you're like...
That's what they're arguing, though, is there's no comparison.
Oh, but there is.
But there is.
There is.
There was another breaking story this week, or last week, where 300 migrant children were found in a housing unit that was to hold a maximum of 120 children. The story was, they were discovered and they're being moved. And, you know, to their credit, CNN and MSNBC had this idea of, we're good. You know, they're safe now. But no, they're not. They're not. They're still being controlled and they're being contained by the same people who put them in that situation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's not, oh, they're being rescued by someone else. And here's the other thing about this story that bothers me. I had thought that they didn't have any sponsors. They didn't have any people who lived in America or even in Mexico.
Oh, so
or
you learned
Honduras.
something this week, didn't you?
Right. I had thought that they were just kind of trapped there. There was nowhere for them to go. And I thought, well, okay, that is definitely a problem and it needs to be handled. But now I found out that's not true at all. In fact, they had many sponsors who would take these children in. Most of them, all of them being family.
Yeah.
But what happened? No, they're not letting them go. They're holding them hostage. So that is what's happening
Well,
at
and
just
I think
one location. And here's the other thing too. Sorry, but aside from the fact that they have an opportunity to live, hey, that's not taxpayer money, by the way. They're living now with family. The family's paying for it. So anyone who has a problem with that, well, your government could fix that. The Trump administration could say, yeah, you can go live with family. But
they're not letting them
They're not
go.
doing that. No, they want to hold them hostage. They want to send a message, don't come to our country because this will happen. But let me explain another issue that these children had to face. Many of them hadn't had a shower or a bath in over a month. Many of them were not given soap, toothpaste. They had to sleep in shifts because there was just simply no room to actually lay down. The littlest ones were taken care of by 7 and 8 year olds. We're talking 2-year-olds being taken care of by a 7-year-old. That's who watched them. It's probably better than who they had.
Well, and
Now
we
we've
also
had-
need to discuss the fact that when they went into one of the camps, and that's what they are calling them by
Yeah,
our government,
yes,
is
yeah.
camps, they discovered that one of the girls who is 15 had been complaining she'd been sick and in pain, and they thought she could be having like gallbladder or kidney stones. She had a baby.
Yeah.
Like, there was afterbirth and everything on the floor. She literally pushed out a baby on Friday, and they found the baby and this teen girl Sunday. It took 2 to 3 days to figure out what was wrong with her, and she had a baby, and now that they both had to be sent to the hospital in emergency care, she had a baby.
Well, and we're, the other thing, yeah, many of them, unlike, they're sick. They're very sick now. And I have heard lice is rampant. And I have heard the argument, well, they came here sick. No, they didn't. Yeah, come on. Please, be reasonable. If you were sick, could you walk across an entire country?
No,
No.
you
couldn't.
don't.
Especially if you're a child. Come on. It's just ridiculous. And there's so much of that we need to think about. There's also rampant allegations of child sexual abuse.
Not just from the other people at the camp.
No,
but
many
from the guards.
from the staff. Yeah,
Yes.
the staff that worked there. Almost all of it is from the staff. And I have heard the argument from people like a Meghan McCain, like the right-wing strong, cornerstones, saying, yeah, but that's what happens when they leave their children in this kind of situation. It's the parents. Is it? No, because you are now advocating for child rape. Look at what side of the argument you're at. You are saying, oh yeah, they did something wrong, and so raping a child is okay.
So let's talk about this, because this has been brought up on numerous occasions. So here's a fun website, and I was gonna post it on Jay's Facebook, but I feel like we should talk about it here, and then you guys can look it up. If you go to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, it is a U.S. website. It's a fun one. It's full of statistics. They have 4 demographics that they consider at the southwest border, and that is the whole border around Mexico. And here are there's 4. There's only 4 that you can fit into. Unaccompanied alien, no, there's only 3, Jesus Christ. No, there is 4. Unaccompanied alien child. Now let's talk about the meaning of this one. This is if it is determined that the people that are bringing you are not your biological mother and father. You are considered an unaccompanied alien child. aunt, grandma, no. It has to be a biological parent. If it's stepmom trying to take it, no. You have family unit.
Even them, though, very
Yes.
little. But yeah, go ahead.
So a family unit, it is determined of a child under the age of 16. And this is important, and I want you to know, I want you guys to understand this. A biological parent, or both parents, and the children are 16 and under, or depending on what age they turn 16 is important. That is a family unit. You have single adults. If you are 16 or older, you are considered an adult at the southwest border. So for all these people who are bringing in, like grandma decides, I need to take my grandkids to the U.S. where they're safe. They are single people. Grandma's a single adult. The children are single. It is an unaccompanied alien child unless they're 16.
Which is interesting because the Republican Party would argue that we shouldn't lower the voting age to 16.
Exactly.
Because,
but
they're not adults.
It is 16 at the border.
Apparently, they're adults.
So
if you're from
even
a
if
different
your
country.
mom is your real mom and your stepdad took the kids because mom already crossed, you are considered yes, you're considered a single adult. So when people say it's only single people, you need to look into that number because a single adult is age
and
16
even then,
or
those
over.
numbers are
And it does not
even low anyway.
Well, and here's the issue: it's not stating male or female.
No, I mean there's a
It
ton
is single.
of family that came. Like the family unions make up a majority.
Well, and we'll get into that. So we have an accompanied minor child, and that is its own group now because a lot of biological fathers are bringing their daughters across. Now, and this could get weird because Jay and I are both Hispanic. We are Latinx. Jay, if you had a daughter in Mexico,
I would hope I had her in China, so I had an excuse to get rid of her.
there you go. But I mean, do you understand why
trying to
these
show some
men
humor,
are bringing their daughters across?
100%, and I do want to get into why, really why. But yeah.
But I mean, and these are the 4 categories at the
But
border.
it's not just even a daughter; it's a child in general. But yeah, go ahead, because I do want to.
Yes.
For the last time, I want to explain why this is happening,
And so, accompanied minor child is 1 biological parent and 1 child. That is it. That is its own. So when you go through after a full year, and this was last updated for June 1st, so they haven't even added June of this year. Here we go. For the month of May, 11,391 people went to the border. 0 were accepted. 0. For the month of April, 10,170 people went to the border. 0 were accepted. And when I say accepted, I mean they can become legal citizens. Here's where it gets awkward. 72 people in May were told they had to stay. 72. And that was the accompanied minor child. They kept the children. They sent the parents back. The family unit. 4,134 family units were accounted for at the border. 2,000 family units were sent back. 2,134 were separated. The children went to one camp and the parents went to another. If you don't want them here and you denied entry, 0 was denied entry, why did you keep them? Do you see my problem?
I think the right wing argues that same point, and I want to explain this real quick. They're awaiting trial, is why they're here, because it's not illegal to apply for asylum in a different country. It's not a crime. In fact, it's a very good thing that we have, that it's not illegal. You could talk about many different refugees, whether it been the Jewish people from Germany in the 30s and 40s, or even as recent as the Syrians after they were gassed and bombed by, we won't get into that, but these are people and these are humans who need help. So it's a good thing that it's not illegal. They're being called illegal, by the way. But the reason why is because they're trying to seek asylum and they're awaiting court dates. Now, under Obama,
Which
did
happen under Obama, let's be honest.
There was a few, and the reason why it happened. Here's the difference. So if under Obama he had something called catch and release, which is a horrible name, but essentially if they had sponsors who lived here, they were allowed to go live with the sponsors. The ones that were detained were the ones who did not have sponsors.
So guess which ones? And this is where it's interesting. The family units that were sent back had sponsors.
Of course they did.
So they were sent back. The children were kept, but they were sent back. The family units that had no sponsors were kept. And I want our fans to understand this. If you have family or somebody here in the United States saying, come here, yes, you can stay with me, seek asylum, I'm here for you, and I will pay for you. They are sending the 16-year-olds and the adults back, but keeping the children.
And look, I want to go into...
Yeah, it's a little shady.
It is. I don't want to make assumptions because I don't know, but it is a very weird thing that we are collecting children from Latinx countries, and it's weird. I'll definitely say it's weird. And I think to go beyond that, you do start to get to a possible Alex Jones conspiracy thing, and that's not where I want to go.
Kids, give them to Epstein.
But a lot of people are wondering why this is happening. What happened? So here's what happened. In America, these United States, we had a gang that was predominantly made up in prisons. And the gang was named MS-13. They were started in America. In fact...
Where were they started?
the American gang MS-13 has over 4,000 known members living in America right now. And
in America where it started.
And let me say this. And those 4,000 that we know of are American citizens. Yeah, Fox News doesn't often tell you about that. Most of them are actually American citizens. So this gang that was started in the prison, they were still a kind of a dime store gang. They had no leadership. They were assholes for sure, like any gang. Especially one that, thrives in drugs and trafficking and things of that nature. But we felt like we shouldn't take care of this gang and these people. Even though we imprisoned them, and probably rightfully so, might I add. They probably committed a lot of crimes. But so what we did was we dropped them off in El Salvador.
Everything that we hate goes to El Salvador.
I'm sorry, Honduras is where...
Guatemala.
There's a triangle of El Salvador, Honduras, and Mexico. And that was pretty much where we had dropped a majority of them off. Now, in Honduras at the time, due to peace agreements, there was no police. No police at all. So this gang thrived. They did very, very well. There was still a problem with this gang, though. They had no leadership. In comes a few people who run what is called the School of Americas, which is a U.S.-backed military training school. They took one of their guys, and he went through the training and then was placed in MS-13 to lead MS-13. Not only that, they took a lot of advice from the School of Americas, and they started educating a lot of these gang members to become lawyers, become politicians, to become police officers. So now MS-13 has a stranglehold in Honduras, in El Salvador, and they have the mature power to fight it, meaning they've got lawyers, they have police chiefs. They are just as corrupt in the system as anywhere else, and it will not shock me when I find out, and you, that they are propped up by the American government.
But I mean,
but
why would anybody be surprised though? Do
I
you know
know,
what I mean?
I know. So the people who are escaping and these refugees, they're given maybe a bucket of water a day, a handful of rice. That's the best they're going to do, while they're also facing rape, murder from this gang that we allowed to thrive. So when you say, why would they just leave? How can they just stay? Is a better question. And when you come to this situation and you feel this is our country, they should stay out, I want to remind people that this can easily happen to you. Easily. It's happened to about every other country in the world in time. Over the people of the Ottoman Empire thought, oh, nothing's ever going to happen to us. They became refugees.
They did.
People in the Roman Empire, they became refugees. Every fucking country. And maybe you listening to this, maybe you won't experience it. There's a good chance your grandkids will, though. Very good chance. So what would happen, and we're seeing this now, where the president is having so much power in America, almost to the point where they can run completely corrupted, not be powered for impeachment. They can almost, like with ICE, they can control their own military unit to do as they see fit. A lot of very scary, tangible correlations between another person we remember. But what happens if President Bernie Sanders wins? And all the stuff that we believed about him is false. At least from my end. But everything on your end, you Republicans, what if you were right? What if he enacts crazy socialism? Kills corporations, kills the economy. People don't have money. He has all this power from the last administration. And it starts off very slowly, but it picks up. You don't have any money because there's no jobs. But the government supplies you with a little bit of food and a little bit of electricity and water when they can, although there's a lot of blackouts. There's a lot of problems that happen. Some of your friends, some of your gun-toting friends, they say, we got to raise up, we got to start a militia. But very quickly, drones and tanks and bombs put them to end. You want to strive up now, but you can't, because, well, most of the community's been wiped off, or they're too sick, too poor to fight. Your next door neighbor was taken away because he started saying that the socialist country is destroying us, and that America was not founded on that. You're losing freedom of speech. You're losing all those things that you hold dear. And even though you think, oh, well, it's just me and my family and my gun, we can fight this out, you can't, and you know that. So you have one last-ditch effort, and that's to go to Canada. You've talked to some of your people in your group, and they say, look, Canada says we're all legal. And as soon as we get there, they're separating us and they're keeping our children. And yeah, you're from Oklahoma, but they're throwing you in Florida because they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit how you get back. They don't even care. It's all the same place to them. They call you illegal. They call you dirty. So you have two options. Three, really. You can stay without any possibility for growth. You can go and seek asylum, and the reason why you're leaving will be ripped away from you in the hands of that is your child and your family. Or you can sneak across. And let's say you haven't been vaccinated. And let's say you haven't had a medical check. And that's one reason why they're scared. Do you give a shit about infecting their people? Or do you just care about your freedom at this point? You're going to sneak across illegally. Just like a lot of these people are sneaking across here without vaccinations. without medical checks. So let me just say this. The more and the harsh treatment that we give to them at the border is going to encourage them to come here illegally and not be vaccinated and to not get medical checks. So we don't know what we're dealing with. We don't even have an idea who these people are. Maybe then we will see the, rampant gang members coming across the border, ISIS coming across the border, because they can sneak in easier. There's more people sneaking in illegally because they're not going to these asylums anymore, because that's where the harsh treatment comes in. That's where your child might fucking die, because 24 children have died. We are encouraging that with this horrible treatment. So the next time you stand back and you say, no, they deserve this, because I'm for my country, because I'm for my family. Look at the damage. Standing behind these detention centers is actually potentially causing your family, because your kid is going to go to school with somebody who most likely snuck across the border instead of getting vaccinated at these detention centers. Who knows if your kid, maybe they have a weak immune system. Maybe they have another disease that your kid isn't vaccinated to. All of this could have been potentially stopped if we just treated them like humans and they weren't scared to get the medical attention and the vaccines to actually come into this country. And that's what we're doing. And that's a huge problem that can easily happen to us.
I can't believe it, because when you think back to everything that you just said, and these people are still choosing, I would rather be locked in a cage in America than here in my home country because of what's happening. I'm going to take my children. I'm going to risk my children being separated because it's still safer than here.
Well, and it's better than watching your child being shot or killed in front of you, raped. I mean, and at the end of the day, I don't want to blame, I don't want to always be anti-America, but this is our problem. It's our gang that we militarized and educated them. We need to handle our shit. But we're not going to, because destabilizing other countries is better for us in the long run. Well, not for us, but for the 1%. Because let's be honest, at what time have we ever had an exit plan for a war? Because Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, they don't want exit plans. And so every time we send our military to handle a situation, it's another reason for them to get another contract and to make more money. So of course they want to cause as much chaos as possible down there. And maybe we're not going to have a war, but they need our troops. They need weapons. And that's just one of the many, many, many ways that we're fucking them up. Not to mention, there was just a story that the Gray Zone released. How Rick Scott was given $500 million by an oil company to be on the side of overthrowing Maduro.
Which is absolutely insane.
And I know that it's different than what we're talking about, but it's also the same.
Happening, yes.
And like I said, no exit plan. What did Donald Trump say yesterday when they asked him what would happen if the inevitable war with Iran actually does come to pass? What would be your exit plan?
There's none.
I don't have one. I don't need one, is what he said. And no, you probably don't, because you won't live long enough. And, Raytheon doesn't pay you for that.
How much longer do you think Trump can be called a mental retard before he just loses his shit?
That's the thing that scares me, honestly. Because, and I'm hoping we're actually just seeing maybe a little blossoming relationship between the two, because it reminds me of Kim Jong-un in North Korea and Trump. Remember, my button's bigger. Kim Jong-un called him an old dolt. That was it. I said he was off base, and then within months, Trump was like, and I kid you not, his quote.
He's my best friend.
No, I fell in love with Kim Jong-un.
Which was just awkward as hell.
But how much do you want to hear him in a couple months? Maybe we'll have a nice little fall romance between the president of Iran and Donald Trump. I just fell in love with him. He's the greatest man.
And then that's when Iran starts bombing us. We don't do that man-on-man shit here.
It would be great. It would not the bombing thing, but the love relationship as they hug each other and still, I mean, thankfully, and I'm not an Iran supporter, but I look for things that Iran has done wrong as per America, and like they still follow the deal that we backed out of. But like, when it comes to like North Korea, Kim Jong-un is still testing. He is still setting up nuclear sites. He's not done shit that he said he would.
But you know what? Trump loves him, and that's the difference.
Right. I mean, Trump got nothing out of that. Absolutely nothing.
He got to stay at his house.
Yeah, he got to
and they watched videos.
And I know they shared letters back and forth.
Did.
Yeah, they're pen pals.
I bet they text. And I bet Trump can't wait to go back. I bet they're going to get their hair braided.
But honestly, though, yeah, that was the scariest thing about the Iran thing, is it was like, oh no, he called the president retarded. Because that's... Look,
all it's going to take.
Yeah, Iran could come here, literally, skull fuck the Statue of Liberty, and go home, and Trump would say, it's not that big a deal. And then they might... Yeah, then that's where... Because he's so thin-skinned. That's where he lives, is insults. Yeah.
I mean, and it's taken months of Trump's BS to get to the point where Iran was like, what a mental retard. And I'm just waiting for Trump to be like, nuke him. He called me a retard. You can't do that. No, he can't.
Yeah, I know. Well, and the thing is, no, you're right, as far as it's taken months for them. Because, here's the crazy thing. Trump put extra sanctions on other countries taking plutonium out of Iran.
Yes.
That's what we want. We don't want more there. Why are you... Not to mention all the sanctions on oil, and I just saw something on RT today where, look, a full invasion, over 3 months, a full invasion of Iran would cost us $2.7 trillion.
But they can afford that. It's a war.
Yeah, we can't.
Can you build a sky wall, is my question.
A partial invasion be 1.8 trillion. And so you kind of think about it, you actually get your money's worth going full invasion. You save about a half a trillion. And even a blockade, which we've talked about.
Yes.
Would still end up costing us about $550 million. For 3 months.
So
3 months.
Let's talk about this sky wall, where like there's windows over certain states, like Kansas, because we have to grow wheat. You could just have a window here. Can we do a sky wall? How much do you think that would cost?
That's another thing, like, while we're just bashing.
Do you think that would go up
side,
with Space Force?
Right. Did you see they had 1.7 miles of the wall done, and it cost $34 billion?
And here's what I want you guys to understand.
What happened to the $27 million and Mexico would pay for it? This is only 1.7 miles, by the way.
And it's not. Isn't it in Florida?
No, I believe it's in California / Arizona, in that area somewhere.
So we're talking 1 mile. That's a driveway for most people in Kansas. A legitimate driveway for especially farmers.
For a rich farmer,
it's a driveway here. So you built this really nice wall that a farmer could actually
It's not even that nice. Like, how did it cost that much money?
Well, yeah, it wouldn't stop the deer from getting through.
No. In fact, there's slats. I could get through and I'm fat. How did they spend that much money? And that's the thing. It's because they're taking it off the top. They're doing what Juan Guaido did, and they're pocketing money. Well, come on, Americans. We know this.
It is absolutely insane.
We know that that's what they do, is they steal our fucking money. But just because he happens to have some racial overtones to it, you're ready to throw him your money like you're watching a fucking preacher on TV saying he's going to cure you of cancer. Just dropping it like you're watching a fucking stripper shaking her ass. But we know this. Come on, don't be stupid. How many goddamn times do we find out that our government is lying to us, the cops were fucking in the wrong, everyone's stealing our fucking money? Since 1989, the top 1% has made $21 trillion. The bottom 80% has lost $700 million.
We are talking 1.7 miles.
Yeah. The wall. Yeah.
2 years.
2 years, by the way. Yeah. Like
2 years. And see, this is where you guys need to think about this. If you paid Mexicans $1 million, like just go to the border and be like, you, and you. Just $1 million. That wall would have been done.
yeah, completely, all the way across too. They would have found the materials. They would have.
You just give them the money. It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
and it would have been higher than what you wanted. It would have been finished on time, and they'd probably paint a fucking mural on it.
Be good. $1 million.
2 years,
I don't-
1.7
yeah.
miles.
You literally could have built a quick trip at the border, fully functional for a fuck ton cheaper. You could actually have just
Yes.
built quick trips all along the border. And we would get more fucking wall for a
Did you
cheaper
know
price.
in 35 years at the rate it's going, 35. So we should be 70, all right? We'll be 71 when this happens. 60 miles. 60 miles.
60 miles. Yeah, think about that, guys. Seriously. 60 miles. Do you know how long it fucking takes to drive from California to Texas? You ever made that drive? You think it's 60 miles?
Let's look that up. I'm going to figure this out because I'm curious. How many years is it actually going to take? It just appalls me. And when they released that, I was expecting a high number. Do you know what I mean? I legitimately was expecting a higher number. I wanted like California and Arizona to be, and I did. I was like, okay, this could be interesting. 1.7.
Yeah, 1.7 miles. And again, if you live in New York, yeah, that's a fucking lot of space. No, it's not. It's not. I wish I could tell you different, but it's not.
So it's about 1,722 miles.
Yeah.
Or a 28-hour drive.
Pretty much by the time I'm dead, they'll have 60 of it done.
Like, my God.
But the thing is his supporters and his fans, they're hearing him as he gave his rally on Monday night, talking about, or Sunday, was it Sunday or Monday? I don't know, but talking about the big, beautiful wall. And they're buying it. They're eating that shit up, even though they can see, you can fucking see, it's 1.7 miles long, and it has costed us in the fucking billions, not millions, billions.
At this rate. Oh my God, are you serious? This is sad. To make...
Let me ask you a question. Well, no, go ahead.
1,722.9 miles. And this is just from California to Mexico.
And we're doing a straight line. We're not doing the fucking mountains. We're not doing the fucking rivers.
We're not even doing the Florida-Georgia thing that people are wanting. This is just California to Mexico. It is a 1,722-mile drive. Or it'll take 2,928 years
to finish it.
To Mexico, just to like the middle of Mexico. So maybe between Texas and Mexico. Well, this isn't even the full fucking Texas line.
So basically, God.
Yeah, we should have done California to Texas then.
So basically, when we're about 100. Maybe 100 miles done, maybe 120 miles done, Mexico won't exist anymore because global warming has flooded it. Global warming's not even, that's going to stop all of it anyway.
California will fall off the edge of the United States before this even happens. Oh, that man. Can you imagine? There goes 200 miles of the wall fucking falling off in California.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's the most repugnant thing I've ever heard. Anyway, we have got to wrap up because we have got to get home. We've got to get some food, and then we got to get ready for these debates coming on. And yeah, we will be back soon. Well, we will.
Yeah, we will be back, and we will have updates, and we leave you with the happiest song in the world.